Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger, and ladies and gents, welcome back to a brand new Fanboy Potions predictions video. And today we are talking about the big one. It's the grandest stage of them all, or of course, as they like to tell us, the ultimate thrill ride. It's WrestleMania time. Of course, it is that time of year when wrestling fans have a whole bunch of fun. It's one of those times of the year when it's really fun to be a wrestling fan, because usually there's some really good stuff that goes on in this period of the year. So we get WrestleMania, then the exciting Monday Night Raw, and I bet you that that excitement will also carry over into the live SmackDown for this year as well. So nevertheless, of course, we are going to go on ahead and play a little bit of WWE 2K17 while discussing my predictions for WrestleMania 33. I want to hear your opinions down in the comments section as well. So please let me know who you think will be walking out as the winners or losers tonight, later on tonight, I should say, from WrestleMania in Orlando, Florida. So let's kick things off with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I think it is pretty obvious. This is one of those years where it's quite obvious who the winner will be, and that would be the one, the only Braun Strowman. So I do see Braun Strowman victorious in this match. Unfortunately, it will be on the pre-show, which seems almost a little bit beneath Braun at this point, because in my opinion, he is a very, very, very good talent, and I would have loved to see him in a bit of a higher profile matchup. Unfortunately, that was not meant to be, but I'll get back to that in a moment. With that in mind, Braun Strowman wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Moving right along to Alexa Bliss versus the SmackDown Live women's roster. It's going to be basically a combination of different female competitors, of course, competing against her. I'm going to pick Naomi to win in her home town. I think that makes sense, and I think she's improved leaps and bounds, and she absolutely deserves that title to be back around her waist. Moving right along to the Cruiserweight Championship match, which will also be on the pre-show, and this will be Neville defending his title against Austin Aries. I actually think that Austin Aries will come very, very, very close to winning this match, but Neville will be able to defeat him and continue their momentum going into the next pay-per-view. I would love to see them continue this feud, because I think Austin Aries could win it off of Neville, but I think at Mania you give the feather in the cap of Neville and let him get the big victory here at WrestleMania. Then let's move right along to the Intercontinental Championship match, which will feature, of course, Baron Corbin challenging Dean Ambrose. And I'm kind of surprised that this match is just a regular match and not like, you know, some sort of no-holds-barred or something like that, because that's sort of what I would expect to see from this match, especially with the way that things have been unfolding between these two over the last few weeks on SmackDown Live. So, with that though being said, it's a bit of a weird situation, because on one hand, I feel like Baron Corbin deserves the shot to become champion and, you know, start building his momentum a bit more, give him the championship, let him run with it, because he really is starting to come into his own, and I've been really liking the stuff that he's done lately especially. So I would love to see him get this title, but I also feel like Dean Ambrose has been so flat as of late that he needs this big WrestleMania victory, especially considering his last Mania was a horrible showing against Brock Lesnar. I think that he deserves to win here. Not that he deserves to win here. I think it will serve a much better purpose for him to win at Mania, and then he can lose the title to Baron Corbin. Similarly, and pretty much the same thing that I said for Neville and Austin Aries. So, similar idea there. Now, so I will select, just to clarify that, I do select Dean Ambrose to walk away as the winner. All right, moving right along to the Raw Tag Team Championship ladder match, which was kind of a big surprise. I was like, really? Wow, okay. This will be interesting to see, because I kind of thought maybe the Cruiserweights would be in some sort of a ladder match this year, but that was not the case. They chose to utilize the ladder match for the tag team titles. Now, they do have some really interesting talents in this match, but I'm just wondering, like, we don't really have any big high flyers in this matchup. Like, the closest we have to that is Enzo Amore, because it will be, of course, I should have mentioned Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, the club, taking on Enzo and Big Cass, and also Sheamus and Cesaro. So, out of all 6 of those competitors, Enzo is really the closest to a high flyer, but he's also not super duper agile, you know, like the likes of like a Kalisto or a big high flying type performer. So it will be really interesting to see how they work this ladder match, because I'm actually really intrigued to see like what will that match end up being like with those specific talents. So I'm actually quite excited to find out what they will be able to come up with, and hopefully it's something really quite cool. Now, with that being said, who do I think will be walking away as the winner? I think it's quite obvious that it is time for Enzo and Big Cass to have their big moment in the limelight. They finally get to become champions, and it will happen on the grandest stage of them all. Imagine the pop they're going to get at Raw when they come out with those titles in hand. So I think that Enzo and Big Cass will be walking away as the brand new Raw Tag Team Champions. Let's move right along to the Raw Women's Championship match, which will feature a fatal 4-way between Bayley, Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair, and Sasha Banks. Of course, Bayley's walking into this match as the champion. I think that she will not be walking away as champion. I know a lot of people are predicting her to walk away as champion, but I actually think that this is going to be where we see Sasha turn heel. It will happen here at WrestleMania, and she will do something to probably pin Bayley in some way, and it will be Sasha Banks walking out of WrestleMania as the champion. If it's not Sasha, it'll probably be Charlotte, but since I can only pick one, I will go on ahead and select Sasha to win and walk away with the championship here. Now, with that in mind, let's move right along to the, what do they call it? The no harm holds agreement or something like that matchup between Triple H and Seth Rollins. This is a very tricky one to predict, because I think that it's kind of like, obviously, hey, pick Seth. He's obviously the future. He's the way to go here. But I also don't know if Seth is injured or not. It's been quite confusing as to whether or not he's actually injured, or if the injury that he has was all like played up. It's been really tricky to figure that out. So I'm actually not sure whether or not he is injured. But what I will say is that it definitely makes this decision a lot more difficult, because if we knew for sure he's injured and he's going to be out after Mania doing some recovery and therapy and so on and so forth, you know, to get himself fixed up, then I would pick Triple H, because I think that's the way to go here. You know, you pick Triple H and then have Balor come out on Raw and challenge Triple H, and you can kind of hand off the feud to Balor. But if Seth is not injured and he's fine, then it's obvious that, hey, Seth Rollins not only will win, he should win this match. That's the obvious way to go. So that makes things very challenging for me, because I'm really not sure which to choose. But since this is a predictions video and obviously I have to pick, I think that we will see Triple H victorious in this match with the help of Samoa Joe and maybe even Kevin Owens, setting up his brand new form of evolution. So I think Triple H will walk away as the winner at WrestleMania once again, which is going to draw, of course, a lot of people's hate, and people are going to be very mad about that. But I think that if Seth is injured, that's the right thing here to do at this point in time. So then let's move right along to John Cena and Nikki Bella versus The Miz and Maurice. The Miz and Maurice have done such an amazing job of carrying this feud, and honestly, to me, just with their performances on SmackDown alone, I want to give this victory to them. Like, if I had to pick who should win, I would go on ahead and select Maurice and Miz. They deserve it. It would be a huge deal for them. But let's be quite honest, John Cena and Nikki Bella will win this match, and then he will most likely propose to her in the ring as well. So again, I think Miz absolutely deserves it, and I would love for Cena to lose this match, and then after that, you know, Nikki is like heartbroken, but you can still have that awesome moment of him making the you know, proposal happen as kind of good notes to leave on. So that's just my personal opinion, though. But again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Let's move right along to Shane McMahon versus AJ Styles, a very controversial, yet another very controversial match on this card, as many people feel like AJ is above Shane McMahon, and many people feel like it should not be a match that AJ is in. People are feeling that he should have been a part of the WWE Championship match. He should have been treated better, so on and so forth. I, to a certain extent, agree, but I also think that this might be a match that will surprise many of us. The one thing that is very interesting, and this is something that AJ brought up himself on SmackDown, was that we found out that this is a regular wrestling match. And Shane usually does very well in matches that are no holds barred and matches that have weapons and other tools to utilize. So because of that, I'm very intrigued to see as to how this match will unfold, you know, because let's be honest, Shane is not the most polished performer as far as traditional wrestling goes. He's really, really exciting and entertaining, but he's not the greatest performer, technically speaking. So it will be very interesting to see if AJ can carry Shane to a great match. But if there's anyone on this planet that could do it, it would be AJ Styles. So I'm certain that this will be a very surprising match to many. And I pray and hope that AJ Styles wins this match, because otherwise that would be a huge, huge mistake in my personal opinion. Now, of course, there could be a case of where he'll lose this match or something along those lines. Maybe Daniel Bryan or somebody costs him the match, and then that's the reason why AJ ends up going to Raw, which is something that has been heavily rumored for quite a while now. So, with that in mind, let's move right along to the next match. Another one that is probably somewhat controversial, and that is Undertaker versus Roman Reigns, because a lot of people are worried that this will be Undertaker's last match. They do not want him to lose to Roman Reigns as his last contest. I'm not sure if it will be Taker's last match, but I will say that this year in particular, especially in the Royal Rumble, you could see Taker struggling, and his age has caught up to him finally. So I would like it to be his last match, just because I think that after this, we might get to a weird point, you know, where it's like, it's just not fun to watch him anymore, you know, like where, not that it's sad, but it's just one of those things where you just don't feel quite as good about watching him perform anymore, because you can see that he is in a lot of pain going for any or all of his moves. So for me personally, I hope it is his last match. I also do hope that Roman Reigns is victorious, with the caveat that Roman Reigns turns heel. That's the one big thing that has to happen. If not, what I would love for Taker to do is win, and then Roman attacks him and turns heel after that. But either way, the way that this needs to end is with Roman Reigns turning heel, because I think that would be very, 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 very important, and it's a great opportunity to do exactly that. He already gets booed a lot, so why not go on ahead and finally turn him heel here, because I think that would be the way to go here. What is this? A draw? Well, that's never going to happen in WrestleMania. But, yeah, final prediction for that is, as I mentioned a moment ago, Mr. Roman Reigns beats The Undertaker is my prediction. I think that it's so tricky, because you see, if it is his last match, he might actually get the victory and retire with a huge win over Reigns. But we're not sure that it's his last match, because it's not really being promoted to a certain extent that way. So because of that, I'm going to go with Roman Reigns. He wins, and hopefully he finally turns heel. Now, let's move right along to the United States Championship match. From Raw, it is Chris Jericho going up against Kevin Owens, KO. This feud has been built up for quite a while. I actually really, really like the way that they've built up this feud, especially because it's been really nice long-term planning with this friendship turned into rivalry, which seems to be a pretty common trend when Kevin Owens is involved in any friendships. So I do like the way that this rivalry has been built up. It might be the best built rivalry on the entire show, just from a perspective of long-term storytelling. So I do like that quite a bit. I think that this match will be very good, or at least solid. It will be very interesting to see how the two styles will clash or kind of complement one another. So I'm excited about that for sure. And as far as who wins, I think it's pretty obvious that Mr. KO, Kevin Owens, will be walking away with a big-time victory at KO Mania 2. So, with that in mind, we then move on to the main event of the SmackDown roster, and that would be Bray Wyatt defending his WWE Championship title. Just remember that last year, Bray Wyatt was involved in that segment with The Rock, where Eric Rowan got destroyed in, like, what was it, 7 seconds or something like that? So it's really nice to see Bray Wyatt in a big stipulation matchup. He'll be facing off against Randy Orton. I think many people have been saying that Randy will win this, and that's the prediction going around. I actually think that I not only would like to see Bray Wyatt retain, because I think there's more value in having a heel champion on SmackDown right now, because if, let's say, the rumor of Roman Reigns going to SmackDown is true and he's not turning heel, then I would love to see Roman work against Bray as a babyface. I think that could be really good. So, in my opinion, I think there's a lot more value in Bray Wyatt retaining the title. And since this is not going to be the last match on the show, since we do know that Goldberg and Brock Lesnar will be finishing the show, in my opinion, it only makes sense to then have the heel champion retain his belt against the babyface Randy Orton. So there we go. Now, with all that in mind, we have now built up to the match that we are currently looking at, and that is, of course, Goldberg defending his WWE title against the one and only Suplex City's own Brock Lesnar. This is going to be a very interesting match because I think many of us finally want to see these dudes wrestle. I don't think that's what we're going to see. I honestly don't get me wrong, I don't think that this will be like a 30-second match, but I don't think it will be a very long match either. Like, I don't see this thing going past like 10 minutes, to be quite honest, and that's being generous. I think that with the entrances, it will probably be about like half an hour long, you know, with all the video packages and then the entrances and everything like that. It will feel like a main event, I'm sure of that, but they are not going to put on a clinic. Like, you're not going to see AJ Styles versus John Cena at SummerSlam quality of match between these two. I just don't see it. Maybe they will shock us all just like they did at Survivor Series when Goldberg won in incredibly quick fashion. It's possible, so I'm not going to rule it out or say that, you know, oh, it's never going to happen. But if I had to bet on it, I would say that this is going to be a pretty quick match. I think that we might get kind of a moment where early on Goldberg gets a spear and then the jackhammer, but this time Brock Lesnar actually kicks out of them, throwing Goldberg into a little bit of a daze, kind of not realizing what the heck just happened here because it's worked before. And then at that moment, it will be Brock Lesnar bouncing back and delivering maybe an F5 or a couple of them to pin Bill Goldberg at WrestleMania 33 and become the champion, which then, of course, will hopefully set up a program for Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, which that's kind of the only nitpicky thing that I have about this is that I do not see Brock Lesnar defending the title earlier than SummerSlam. In fact, I don't see either one of these guys. Like, even if the rumors about Bill Goldberg signing an extension to his contract to work after WrestleMania are true, I just don't see either one of these guys defending this, the Universal Championship anytime sooner than SummerSlam, which will be kind of interesting because you have to think to yourself, like, what will be the prize that the Raw brand will be competing for in the meantime while we get to SummerSlam? And don't get me wrong, SummerSlam is not that far away, so it's not crazy to think this, but it does kind of raise a few interesting questions as to, like, what will the Raw brand be doing while the Universal title's around the waist of Brock Lesnar or Bill Goldberg. I'm hopeful, honestly, that the main event at SummerSlam would be Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman, as Brock would be the heel and Braun as the babyface coming in and challenging for the Universal title. That's my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think. I also would love to hear your opinions in general on WrestleMania 33. I hope you guys enjoy this time of the year because it's a really fun time to be a wrestling fan. I know I said that last year as well, but I stand by it. It's just a really fun, exciting time to be a fan of wrestling at this point in time because when you tune in on Monday Night Raw, it's going to be an amazing, amazing show. It's always just so much fun. The crowd is so riled up. And I'm hopeful that since SmackDown is now the day after Raw, maybe we'll get a similar SmackDown show as well, where things are just going to be going crazy, chaotic, a lot of fun surprises, because you do have to keep in mind that we're probably not going to see SmackDown superstars on Raw because now there's been a brand split. So does that mean that SmackDown is going to have its own, basket of surprises to offer to us? So I'm hopeful the answer is yes. Maybe we'll get a returning like Shelton Benjamin, or maybe, I don't know, Kurt Angle or someone like that to appear over on the SmackDown side of things as well. So thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope to see each and every single one of you lovely folks here for the next big pay-per-view. If you want to see a predictions video for that as well, don't forget to click the like button. And of course, like always, guys, have an absolutely fantastic day. I'll see you later, alligators.